Hey everyone, this is Jack. Welcome to your free video. Wow, what a Monday. And usually we see something like a grind higher into the close, short covering rally from around 11:30 to 12:30 around noon, and then we just, push higher. That totally did not happen today, right? And we know that we're going back into a key level from the end of January. This is a daily chart on the left-hand side. Pretty significant pullback in the NASDAQ. A lot of y'all probably had some fun shorting this thing. There were a lot of really good market internals saying, hey, don't buy this thing. Give this a moment to cool off, and then it's going to take another leg down. Just like the last 30, 45 minutes of the market, where in the futures room, basically a short bias all the way into the close was the way to go. We did it through a SPX call credit spread, which worked out just dandy. We did the 38, 80 and 85 to the downside, so that was cool. It's really interesting, like, how do we open up tomorrow? Well, right now, I wanted to do the video just a little bit later to see where NASDAQ futures go. I mean, obviously, they're a little bit quiet right now, but I wonder what the overnight move is going to be like. Do we wake up and do we have 13,100 to look at? And then that would be below a 50% retracement, and then that would be below really the lowest low that we've had since, like I said, at the end of January. Now, February seasonality or historically weaker month, right? And here we are at the end of it after monthly expiration. This is the Monday after monthly expiration. So it makes sense to maybe be a little bit quiet to neutral to down tomorrow. Of course, never forget that we are in a, fairly strong bull market. And I say that kind of sarcastically, but it's true. And we have some other things that just did not hold up. If you take a look at Amazon on the right-hand side, Tesla on the left-hand side, both taking a huge hit. Elon Musk here with a move like this, losing 16 billion in net worth, which is just, that's a couple splashes in the pond, no big deal. But $66 down from essentially we're eyeballing 1,000. Everybody wanted 1,000, right? The significant thing of these two charts right here is they both have bearish momentum on daily time frames, and one of them is squeezing and firing. The other one, and that's Tesla, by the way. So Tesla looks very, very like it's headed on its way down to 700. So let's just kind of keep that in mind. I know that everyone wants to just buy the dip. I get it. I do too. Trust me. But let's let this Monday, Tuesday, maybe even Wednesday play out. See where we can establish a little bit of, check your volume profiles, see where buyers start coming in and start making a difference. Or does this start to paint a picture of, oh my gosh, we're going right back down to, November. And, last November lows, which were right around 600 in 2020. And then Amazon, of course, that's an interesting development here. Wow, what a chart. You can also see, just let me zoom in here for you, that squeeze, it's trying to fire to the downside. It has hit the daily 100. But you know what? These are the big caps. And what do we know about the last 2 weeks? Well, the Russell was up, small caps had a good bid. And honestly, I'm still looking at things like Fastly, FSLY. I'm looking at NVTA, a lot of bio, a lot of these kind of like newer names that are getting a lot of attention. I'm a little bit suspicious of that kind of like narrative, like everybody buy, all these, genomics, biotech, all the fancy technology, combination biology stuff. I want to let these kind of take a breather. They also have an assortment of compression on volatility with bearish momentum. And obviously that's going to be some, that's after a day like today, there wasn't really many names that were actually up, right? So NVTA, FSLY, and then one more thing, just before I let you go, I like to focus most of the time in a bull market on high short interest floats. And one of my favorites right now is Chewy, and it has a squeeze, and it's down to the daily 21, which is super cool. This is a perfect little setup. Green 10x bars, daily time frame. You hit the 1272 extension. You came right on back down. Chewy has high short interest. I believe it's 27%. That could have changed since Friday. But this is one of my favorite ones. I don't pay attention to what kind of company it is. I don't care what kind of company it is. I look at the setup. And this right here, if you want to take a snapshot of it, is, definitely like, hey, let's do the in the money, sell the put credit spread 110, 115 into March monthlies. Or if you're more of like a short term, you can go to shorter term time frames. Let's just do an hourly time frame, see if it has a squeeze. And it doesn't, but it is in that kind of consolidation kind of area. That's interesting. Restoration Hardware and Wayfair are always in my list whenever they have a squeeze, and they're respecting the 8 and 21. So if we zoom in just a little bit more, now I know that trading Restoration Hardware can be a little bit daunting just because volume and the spreads, all that kind of stuff. It's a good looking chart. You're clearly rejecting lower lows, and you're just kind of making a little, bullish kind of flag pattern, and it does have a daily squeeze, complemented by higher time frame squeezes as well. And if we're going to look at Restoration Hardware, let's look at Wayfair. The weird thing is like we have earnings coming up on Wayfair. Also, why even pay attention to this sector? Well, what we're seeing is a rotation of the bigger names. So I think this is actually a spot where we come in here after earnings, and if it dips, awesome, we just buy the thing, because historically Wayfair, Restoration Hardware, all that stuff has been pretty fantastic as far as volume whenever it can get going, and we have high compression squeezes. I think that this is like a good start after a day like today. You just want to refresh your list, right? Refresh, take a look at earnings that we have this week. I probably could have covered that a little bit, but just, out of curiosity, one of my favorite names is DKNG, Draftkings, and this is one that reports what, tomorrow? No, okay, so Thursday. So they report on Thursday, and you have, no squeeze or anything like that on the daily time frame, which is the first thing I look for. But you do have a little bit of volatility compression whenever you go into the lower time frames. Well, you did on the 30-minute. And that one, obviously, today everything was just down. So we just kind of wait, see what happens tomorrow. I like this one. This is my long-term, long play stock outside of all the other sectors I look at, which is, e-commerce, semiconductors, and a little bit of biotech. DraftKings, to me, is a $100 stock in the future. Outside of DraftKings, on a bullish note, still bullish copper, FCX, still bullish nickel, and TG and I are still looking at VALE stock. That's one of our top picks for 2021 into the future. So I know that was a lot of information. Very bullish on DraftKings after we kind of get, unflustered from today, kind of see where everything lands. We have earnings to consider. Maybe taking action after earnings would be the play. And then just continuing to have a long bias in copper, nickel, things that you're going to need to make batteries out of. And, let's see what the future has. It's a weird Monday whenever you don't have a short covering rally and you're down 300-400 points. So we'll see how it goes, and we'll see you in the next one. Happy trading.